Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. Back to the Future is a 1985 American science fiction film that was directed by Robert Zemeckis and was written by Zemeckis and Bob Gale. The movie stars Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Crispin Glover, and Thomas Wilson. The storyline for the film goes that in a small California town, teen Marty McFly is thrown back into the 50s when an experiment by his eccentric scientist friend, Doc Brown, goes awry. Traveling through time in a modified DeLorean car, Marty encounters young versions of his parents, and he must make sure that they fall in love or he'll cease to exist. In an even more daunting task, Marty has to return in time to save the life of Doc Brown. The inspiration for the film largely stems from Bob Gale discovering his father's high school yearbook and wondering whether he would have been friends with him as a teenager. The film was initially rejected by every major studio that it was presented to. Most studios rejected the film because it wasn't raunchy enough, as most successful teenage films of that time were of that nature. Disney rejected the film because they felt that the angle of the mother falling in love with her son was inappropriate for their films. Gosh, how things have changed. Their films have become a junkyard, and inappropriateness doesn't fit into the equation nowadays. In addition to all these things, the studios were really scared of Robert Zemeckis' work, as films that he had previously directed were largely flops. The unexpected success of Romancing the Stone from 1984, which he directed, boosted his profile, resulting in the studios taking a second look at his movie proposals. Universal Pictures head Sid Sheinberg didn't like the title Back to the Future, insisting that no one would go to see a movie with future in the title. He sent a memo to the director, and he said that the title ought to be changed to Spaceman from Pluto, tying in with the Marty as alien jokes in the film. Sheinberg was persuaded to change his mind by a response memo from Steven Spielberg, which thanked him for sending this wonderful joke memo, and that everyone on the production got a kick out of it. Steinberg was too proud to admit that he was serious about the memo, and he gave in, letting the film retain its title. Another note that he sent to the director was that he felt that Doc Brown's original sidekick of being a chimpanzee ought to be changed to a dog. His argument was that no film with a monkey in it had ever made money. He disregarded the recent success of Clint Eastwood's hits Every Which Way But Loose from 1978 and Any Which Way You Can from 1980. The test audience, to whom the movie was initially screened, was not told that the movie was intended to be a comedy. Robert Zemeckis recalled that the atmosphere in the cinema started to get really tense during the scene where Einstein the dog is sent through time, because the audience was expecting that something gruesome had happened to the dog. C. Thomas Howell was originally cast for 2 weeks as Marty McFly, even rehearsing with Crispin Glover and Leah Thompson. After the movie Mask had success in 1985, the filmmakers decided to recast the role with Eric Stoltz and replaced Howell in doing so, much to the chagrin of Tom Wilson, because he really disliked working with Eric Stoltz. He found him a little bit too serious and aggressive. Before Stoltz was released from the project, they had already filmed the near fight between Marty and Biff in the high school cafeteria. During takes of this scene, Stoltz would push back on Wilson so hard that Wilson got bruises. Although in real life, Wilson was nothing like the bully that Biff is. He wanted to get revenge, though. He had planned to get back at Stoltz by giving him a real punch in the gut during the scene where he pulls Marty out of the car at the dance. But Stoltz was fired from the project before Wilson ever got the chance. Michael J. Fox has stated that Marty being characterized as a person riding skateboards, chasing girls, and having an interest in playing music with hopes of becoming a rock star was the exact same way that he was during his own high school days. There's a persistent myth that Michael J. Fox had to learn to skateboard for the film. In fact, he was pretty skilled as a skateboarder, having ridden it throughout high school, although they did use a professional double for some of the more complex scenes. John Lithgow was the studio's first choice for the role of Dr. Emmett Brown, but he turned it down due to a scheduling conflict that he had. Christopher Lloyd was a close second choice, and everybody was completely pleased when he signed on to the project. Dudley Moore and Jeff Goldblum were also considered for this role. Huey Lewis was asked by the director to write a song for the movie, but the director and the producer just weren't too thrilled with the first song that he brought back to them. After explaining what they were hoping for, Huey came back with The Power of Love. He was then told that they needed one more song. And so after reviewing a cut of the film, Huey got the inspiration for Back in Time. Now I have to tell you, this Crispin Glover is a strange one. But no one knows this more than David Letterman. When Glover appeared on Late Night with David Letterman in July of 1987, to the surprise of Letterman and the audience, he walked in wearing platform shoes and a wig. And during this bizarre interview, he behaved completely erratically, and he nearly kicked Letterman in the face, causing Letterman to walk off the set. Letterman was extremely mad about this, and when he comes back out, Glover is gone. I don't recall ever seeing David Letterman being so upset with a guest as I did that night. Take a look back at this classic film from 1985. It's always a fun watch. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.